Thank you, Clive. Thank you all very much. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Wave at me. Yes, fantastic.
Yeah.
I declare this Rotary Club of London meeting open. A very warm welcome to all of you, and I should tell you this meeting is being recorded. If for any reason you don't want your face to appear on the recording, then you need to switch your video cameras off. I want to say a particular welcome today to Donna Wallbank, the RIBI President, who is going to speak to us later, Tony Sharma, our outgoing District Governor, Brian Coleman, our Assistant District Governor, who has looked after this club so well for the last number of years. We have a guest of Vasi's, Diana Chang, welcome to you. And what I like to do, as you know, is just to see who is here from overseas to give us an update from various countries. Now, Tim Waugh and Stefan, we don't need to hear from you every week unless there is anything specific you want to tell us. If there is, please can you indicate now, and can anybody else who is attending from overseas please put their hands up so that Clive can see you if you want to give us an update on what's going on in your countries. Clive.
Yes, we've got Zenelito. Zenelito is from the Philippines. I'm going to try to unmute him. It won't let me. So Zenelito, would you unmute yourself, please, and just say hello?
Hi, hello.
Hi.
Good day to everyone.
You're in Manila, are you?
No, he's in London.
Oh, sorry, I thought you
No,
were from
I'm
Philippines.
here in London.
But he's from Philippines.
I've been
On
locked
the
down here
Philippines,
since
not in the
March.
Philippines. Oh, right.
No, yeah, not
Are
in
you-
the Philippines.
Are you waiting to go home?
Yeah,
you
hopefully
waiting?
by first week of July.
Oh, that's good. Okay, fine, fantastic. All right, great. Well, great to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm enjoying your meeting.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A former member from Tanzania is here, Peter.
Yes, Peter, I know that Vasi has invited you to our meeting here today. I know you are a former Tanzanian High Commissioner here in London. You are still a Rotarian, I'm told. A very warm welcome to you. Can you just tell us what's going on in your country, please?
Well, thank you very much, President. Thank you very much, President Tim, and all members of the Rotary Club of London. This is a great pleasure once again to see a lot of faces that we're familiar. But if I may just speak about what is happening in our country, we had the first cases in early March, and I think it was a bit difficult for the government to decide what to do, if we should have a lockdown or what, but eventually we never had a lockdown. Some of our neighbors had the lockdown. And so it's really difficult to say what is the situation like. We had quite a number of deaths in early March, but somehow now we are opening up, and to the great pleasant surprise.
Oh, it's frozen.
I think Peter's frozen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you can hear me, Peter, thank you very much indeed for joining the meeting. I hope you managed to get your reception back so you can stay for it.
And we've got VJ from RI District 3140.
Going back and,
Good afternoon, everybody.
Yes, hello. You're speaking to us from India. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm from India.
Well, a very warm welcome to you. Do you want to give us a very quick update on what's going on in India?
Sure. As you all know, our leadership took a good decision and did a lockdown in time. So fortunately, our cases are not too high. But yes, since the lockdown has been opened slowly, the cases are increasing. The only good thing is that our recovery rate is above 55%. That's a good thing that we can see. That's what I can share with you. Thank you.
Lovely. It's great to have
Thank
you.
you
From the Rotary Club of Thane Royals, and a very warm welcome to you. If you could mute yourself again, VJ, that would be great. Thank you.
Yes,
Peter,
I've done it.
Peter, are you now live with us again? Is there anything you wanted to add? Peter Callaghy.
not really. I'm just saying, you know, it seems we're not hit as hard, but the jury is still out. We're not out of the woods yet.
Good. Okay. Well, I wish you well and your country well, Peter. Thank you for coming. I think Tim
Thank you
Wall
very
wanted to
much.
say. Tim Wall, you wanted to add something to your normal report, yeah?
Yeah, thank you, President Tim. All I want to do is to request that everybody supports this stupid 50-day quarantine rule, which is preventing me from coming back to UK. It needs to be rescinded as soon as possible. So I want to come back. Okay, thanks.
Good. Be good to see you back here, Tim. Is there anybody else from overseas? Please raise your hand clearly.
I can give you a quick update if you want.
Oh, this Stefan. Okay, Stefan.
Stefan, yes, please. Yeah, great.
So as predicted, as I said last week or 2 weeks ago when I was there with the meeting, we reopened and we had a huge jump in cases the last couple of days. I was on call this week and I had a lot of COVID cases in the hospital suddenly coming up. So what I can say from here is stay at home, follow the rules, and yeah, till it's over.
Good. All right. As a doctor speaking, thank you very much, Stefan. Great to see you with us again today. Fantastic. All right. I have a report from past President Harry, our almoner, who reports as follows. I spoke to Eileen Standish today, and I'm glad to say they are both well. That's Ken and Eileen. However, about 6 weeks ago, Ken had a very badly infected hand, so much so that his finger was at risk of being removed. But I'm pleased to say that having been through the medical procedures, he is now fit and well again, albeit probably a slightly setback as a result of that. So that's good news from Ken and Eileen. This coming Wednesday, our newly chartered Rotaract Club, the Rotaract Club of London, is holding a party, an event. It is called the Rotaract Club of London Purple for Polio Prosecco Party. And can you please try to make an effort to support them? We are the supporting club for this new Rotaract Club. So we do actually need to go and give them support. It's 7:30. It's their first event. And I will remind you again what's happening. Founder Rotaract Club members, Grace and Ben Gautier, will sing sets and solos, a mixture of opera and crossover, that's music from shows, along with the Rotary Young Citizens Award winner 2012, 19-year-old Bethany Hare, who, like Grace, has raised tens of thousands of pounds for charities and set up her own charity at the age of 12 to help children with life-limiting illnesses. She has recently recorded her first single and has just got a part acting in Hollyoaks. It is a minimum of £10 only contribution to attend this event. The link has already been sent out and it will be sent out again to you prior to the event. It has been done in a little bit of a hurry because we have the Rotary year end coming up and Rotary International are as keen as possible to get to their target of $50 million so that Bill and Melinda Gates' top-up money, which they've pledged up to $100 million, if we can get to the 50 million, will be maximized. We also have joining us that evening will be Mike McGovern, who is the chair of Rotary International Polio Plus Committee. And he will give us an update generally on what's going on with the polio campaign. So remember, I've said it's only costing you £10 to attend, but by the time that is topped up by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, that's £30 made for End Polio Now. Another event that is happening, the Rotary Club of Harrow have Sir Vince Cable as their speaker coming up this coming Thursday. They are a lunchtime club and they meet from 11:15. He should be a most interesting speaker. And the link has already gone out, but will go out again in tomorrow's newsletter. Finally, in terms of event, next Sunday is our district handover, when our district governor, Tony Sharma, will be handing over to the new district governor, currently district governor-elect, Francis Uwechi. It's 6:30 in the evening. It is requested that the men wear jacket and tie, and again, there will be a link in tomorrow's newsletter. So there will be 3 links in tomorrow's newsletter for those 3 events. Tony Sharma has been a very good friend of this club, and we hope he has enjoyed his year. We wish him well, and of course, we wish the new district governor, Francis, well. Birthdays this week. We have 3 birthdays this week. This Tuesday, it is Doug Will's birthday. On Wednesday, it's Nono Hardy's birthday. And on Saturday, it's Tim Ward's birthday. So I present you all with digitally with a Rotary Club of London pen. That's one pen. You can all fight over it. Okay. Visits to other clubs. Robert Ghazi, of course, with Eve, have attended Redbridge and Stafford and Aberdeen Deeside RI Virtual Convention Celebration over the last weekend. I'm not quite sure what that was. It sounds very long and complicated, but it did go on over the weekend. So clearly they have been very busy attending things.
Yes, I was there as well.
Thank you, Clive.
Jim.
Thank you very much. And it was all weekend, was it?
It was Saturday and Sunday, and yeah, and
Okay.
it carries on with this week with the breakout meetings if anybody would like to go.
Oh, right. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you. The lockdown appeal. Now, the lockdown appeal has now been running for 12 weeks. So the plan is to close it on the 30th of June. We have so far collected in, with gift aid, £13,500. We have paid out £2,500 to St Mary's Hospital Appeal, £2,500 to Silverline, and as you know, we will now be paying £2,500 to each of 4 children's charities: the Roald Dahl's Marvellous Children's Charity, the Rainbow Trust, Kids Out, and Brainwave. We have a little bit of surplus funds in the Rotary Club of London Charity Trust, which the trustees have agreed can come over to top up this fund. So any money that is left over when we get to the 30th of June, and there certainly will be a good few hundred, probably at the moment around 400 or 500. Great if we can get it up to 1,000. Whatever that excess is, the plan is to give that to the Rotaract Club of London's chosen charity, which is Crisis, which of course looks after the London homeless. So whatever the top up is, please keep giving money for one last week. And let's try to get £1,000 going to Crisis. Okay, I'm now going to ask you to grab your glasses of wine, coffee, tea, water, Coca-Cola, and we will have remaining seated our toast to the Queen. To the Queen. All right, it is now my pleasure I actually see Louis Huey has joined us today, and we can actually look at this amazing hair length that he claims to have. Louis, I'm now passing the meeting over to you.
Thank you, President Tim, especially for promoting my new hairstyle. Before I start the presentation, perhaps if I give a bit of history of the glass boot, for those who don't know its background. In 1972, President Ron Spears won the glass boot in a tombola. The occasion was the Rotary Governors Ball at the Grosvenor House Hotel in Park Lane. Ron said when he became president that when his term of office was over, he would feel like an old boot. And with this in mind, at the end of his term of office in 1977, he handed the glass boot over to the incoming president, Bernard Downham, with the charge that he in turn should hand this on to his successor. This became a tradition that has now survived for 48 years. And thanks to past President Hugh Kirk for that bit of history. Now back to you, President Tim. During your year, members have enjoyed an array of highly successful and enjoyable fundraising and social events. We had the Capri trip to visit our twin club with a delegation of 24. We had a golf day at Sandy Lodge, and despite the heavy rain which you managed to arrange for us, we raised over £8,000 for Life for Kids. We had 3 large-scale oversubscribed events, the international dinner at East India Club, the Christmas lunch and Burns night at Chesterfield Hotel, and not to mention, of course, you single-handedly organized an amazing immediate past president dinner at the House of Lords. You've also rejuvenated the new members' evening with 15 new members and mentors present. Last but not least, you even managed to pull off visiting Tel Aviv during lockdown via an aerial tour attended by 30 people who I believe have demonstrated a great degree of tolerance following my never-ending questions. As president, Tim, I'm pleased that you have continued and actively promoted the various incentives we introduced as a team during my year. Under your leadership this year, the club has enjoyed a first-class speaker program. Membership is going from strength to strength, from around 110 at the beginning of the Rotary year to now over 120. We now have a shortened quarterly business meeting format where new members have the opportunity to speak. A new Rotary Club of London has been chartered, as you mentioned earlier. The club has raised and made over £60,000 of charitable donations to various UK and international charities, and engaged in a number of community projects and activities, including the Soho Fade, RNLI Connections, and St. Patrick's Soup Kitchen. Finally, the pandemic hasn't discouraged you as president, and the innovation continues. Now we are holding Zoom meetings online, often attracting nearly double the numbers who usually attend physically at Chesterfield. I understand the list goes on, but today is your Glasswood Day, where we jokingly boot you out, and the club is eager to hear what you have to say. So I'll stop here, and on behalf of the club, thank you so much for everything you have done and achieved this year. We're very lucky to have you as our president at this amazing Rotary Club. And I'm not sure how we should do this, but I suppose I now magically present you with your glass boot.
Oh, wow, it's worked. Thank you, Louis. Thank you very much. Let me start by saying that, first of all, historically, Glass Boot Day is normally on the last Monday in June, but it was actually moved in Louis' year to the previous Monday to avoid the clash which happens with city elections, which are attended by a number of our members. So although in the end there are no elections this year, this is kind of where our Glass Boot Day is now sitting. So I still have one final week to go. So maybe next week I should term it the President's Last Gasp. Notwithstanding COVID-19, I have to say that I've thoroughly enjoyed my year as your president. Indeed, it is fair to say that in most respects has been as successful as I could possibly hope for, due in no small measure to the efforts, energy, and enthusiasm of so many members, all wanting to make the club succeed and to move forward. Louis, thank you very much for those kind words and for passing me on this magnificent, you can all see it now, I think, this magnificent glass boot. The only thing that's missing from it seems to be the brandy. I thought I got it with brandy topped up to there, but maybe I'll get that on another day. Okay. I shall cherish that very carefully before next year passing it on to David. When Louis took over as president in 2018, he had the idea of setting out a 2-year plan, and I hope you will agree that the club is in a better place as a result of this. His plan, our plan, included introducing a corporate membership category. As he said, shortening quarterly business meetings to allow new members to use that time to introduce themselves. A whole variety of incentive schemes to encourage attendance and introductions, and continuing to strive to have only top-class, interesting and varied speakers, because if we didn't do that, people wouldn't attend. As a result of this, our membership, after next week's planned inductions, will be 123, which is the highest it's been for some time. Clive, past President Clive, past District Governor Clive, I want to thank you very much for your diligence and efficiency in interviewing and processing applications. And once more, also to show appreciation to Vasi for introducing so many new members into this club. I was very pleased to be able, Vasi, to present you with your Rotary International Avenues of Service Award a couple of weeks ago. And I'm quite sure by now that it has been framed and is hanging proudly somewhere in your magnificent new flat in Fulham. Thank you, Vasi. Clive, you have also served as our very efficient Sergeant at Arms. I have to say, when you undertook this job at the beginning of the year, no one could possibly have imagined that it would stretch to managing and controlling weekly Zoom meetings, which you now do with enormous efficiency. Thank you very much for picking up on that role. We've certainly had quite a few firsts as a result of COVID-19. We've temporarily moved to Zoom meetings. We've had our first meeting of the club on an Easter bank holiday Monday, and we've had our first virtual president's trip. So that's just 3 of the firsts. As Louis mentioned, in January, we held a new members' evening at the Royal Automobile Club, which attracted around 15 of our new members. And it was a great opportunity to get to know many of them better and away from the formality and the slightly rushed atmosphere sometimes at the Chesterfield. So I hope that is something that will continue going forward when that is possible. But the most critical factor in drawing in new members is maintaining good quality and interesting speakers. Many of you have introduced 2, 3, or possibly 4 over the course of my year, but the majority have been introduced by past President Anthony Newton. Anthony, you're now on the full screen. Anthony, you are tirelessly in pursuit of good speakers. Over this year, I have spoken to you many times each week about your ideas for who might speak at a meeting. Quite often, these conversations are prefixed by, I know it will be controversial, but I've had a couple of crazy thoughts overnight. Why don't we get X or Y to speak? Or why don't we get someone from some particular topical organization? Well, I think it's fair to say in 95% of the cases, I've said, Anthony, that's a great idea, just do it. And possibly on about 5%, I've said, let's just think about this a little bit more carefully. So Anthony, for all your continual time, efforts, and devotion, I would like to award you a Paul Harris Fellowship +2, with many thanks from everyone at the club, and please continue to keep up your good work for David and for future presidents. Thank you very much. Okay, Clive. As I said earlier, our lockdown appeal with a small top-up from the Charitable Trust will have raised £15,000. As Louis mentioned, this has increased our total charitable giving in the club to over £60,000 this year, something I'm very proud to have achieved. I have heard it said that the Rotary Club of London is just a lunchtime club who don't actually do anything. Well, that's not right. In addition to raising this substantial sum of money, we do things as well. Our international committee, run so well by Nono Hardy, supported so ably by Tim War and all the other committee members, are involved in various aid programs around the world. In the UK, we support the Soho Society, we participate in the RLNI collections, we support the Feeding the Homeless at St. Patrick's Church, we are assisting in the Learning English Libraries project, and during COVID-19, assisting in Earl's Court at the Restart program by assisting with the packaging of meals. Now, the first few of these projects have fallen to our Community and Vocational Committee, chaired so well this year for the second time by Brian Sluice. Brian, you are very shortly to return to your native Canada. We wish you and your wife Beverly a safe passage and hope that you enjoy your posting there. Brian, of course, also introduced the Salvation Army to our club as a corporate member, a group that have supported our club so well. Isabella, I wish you well in taking over this role. And I do have an email from Brian. I'm not sure if he's online today, but he writes an email and he says, I am anxious for the membership to know what a privilege it has been for me to have been associated with such a wonderful group of people these past couple of years. I will miss your friendship and fellowship dearly. But the latter two projects, the Learning English in Libraries and the work at Restart, is principally down to one lady, Colleen Doyle, who seems to have a glacier behind you at the moment, Colleen. Well done. Colleen, I have witnessed you at work in the Paddington Library on a Saturday morning, and I've always been very well taken by your dedication and to your commitment to such projects, and I thank you for it. You do it quietly and you do it unobtrusively, and you are a credit to our club. You are currently a Paul Harris Fellowship Level 3, and I would like today to award you the next level, a Paul Harris Fellowship 4. And I want to thank you on behalf of every club member for so often taking the lead in our community-based activities and for flying our flag the way that you do. Thank you very much, Billy.
Thank you.
Okay, well done. We have, of course, a host of people who quietly set about doing things to help our club. Each week, past President Neville Shulman sends a report to the Daily Telegraph, which appears on a Tuesday in the announcements section and shows who spoke the previous day to us. Past President Harry Simmons, our club almoner, diligently sets about checking up on sick members and lets me know, the way we do it through Zoom, how they are doing so I can report back to you all. Nikki Stone, of course, has been assisting him in the last year by organising the Get Well cards. Tom Swainland has served as our house chair, which means that he has been responsible for the smooth running of our Monday meetings in terms of the setup and dining arrangements each week. Tom, I know you do this with great enthusiasm and commitment, and I thank you for all your hard work and diligence. Tom has been ably assisted this year, again, by Paul Wilson, who has attended pretty well every week at our club from around 11:30 to ensure that everything is set up correctly. A big thank you to you, Paul, for doing this. The photographs from our Monday meetings, the photographs from all our events, and the recording of our Zoom meetings are all managed between Chicago and past President Hiko Tanaka. The photographs from our Chesterfield weekly meetings in particular, if you might remember that far back, don't just happen to appear in a beautifully formatted album each week. A lot of work goes into them by Hiko, who I know works sometimes on these albums for many hours, because I've seen the emails where he eventually gets to the end of them and sends them over to Julian at 1 o'clock in the morning so that Julian can include them in the next day's newsletter. Additionally, Hiko has been the club's district liaison officer this year and has chased up members every time there has been a district event requiring our attendance, whether that be the district meetings, the district social events, or the district conference. We've always had our voting commitments of 5 at district meetings. We have always had a table, or sometimes 2, at every district social event this year, and have had extremely good turnouts at the district carol concert, at Youth Makes Music, and very much so at the Bournemouth conference. He always leads from the front and, of course, attends all these events himself. Hiko, to thank you on behalf of our club for all the work that you quietly do in the background and all the support that you give our club, I would like to award you a Paul Harris Foundation +2. Well done. Thank you very much. It is very well deserved. Until lockdown, district sports was energetically looked after by past President Brian Summers. Having won the district cup last year for the most improved club, something we would be unlikely to win twice in its row by its very nature, he nevertheless this year has chased members up to get them to participate in a variety of sports competitions. I don't recall the exact position of everyone, but I know that past President Louis was through to the chess final and the quiz team was through to the quiz final before everything had to be cancelled. So Brian, very many thanks for all your help and support in chasing everybody up and getting them entered into these various sports. Turning to the younger side of Rotary, Rajiv, as our foundation chair, you have well looked after our 2 Rotary scholars this year, and in particular, we've seen a lot of Sean Minton and his wife, Amy. Next year, Rajiv has successfully bid for 5 scholars, and we look forward to welcoming students from America, Asia, and Europe. We're not quite sure when they're going to get here, but I hope they will get here soon. Hopefully, as a larger group, they will gel well together. And he is also making it clear to them when they do get here that they are expected to become members of our new Rotaract Club and support that club during the time they are here. Sean Minton is the founding president of the new club and has been one of a team of people who was behind the chartering of it. The other people in our club who assisted in this are President-elect David Johnson, our former Vice President Stefan, Sabrina, Robert Ghazi, assisted by Eve, of course, and Chicago. So I thank you all very much for your endeavors, and we, of course, we all wish the club well. As I said to you earlier, any surplus in our lockdown appeal, once we've paid the committee £15,000, will go to the Rotary Club of London's chosen charity, which is Crisis. And as I said, we look forward to join them at their Purple for Polio Prosecco party on Wednesday. And don't forget your Prosecco if you're joining. Now, every successful club needs a good officer structure and admin backup. Ian Balcombe, you have served now as the club's honorary secretary for a total of 10 years. You have undertaken this role with great diligence and passion and have been the source of advising 10 presidents on what they can and cannot do under our constitution and bylaws, as well as calling and administering monthly council meetings. You have, of course, done so for 9 of those years whilst fully employed, and it is only in the last year that you've been able to get regularly to attend the Monday meetings as a result of your retirement from work. I am absolutely delighted that you will be next year's Vice President, something you have earned for all the work that you have been putting into this club, and a position I'm sure you will carry out to the best of your ability in supporting David. It gives me very great pleasure, therefore, Ian, to award you a Paul Harris Fellowship +1 to thank you for those 10 years as our Honorary Secretary. And I wish you an honourable year as our Vice President. Thank you. Julian prepares every week the club bulletin, the President's running order, and the Tuesday mail-out. If you've ever stopped and looked at the length of some of these weekly mail-outs, the volumes of information in them, and the links to the flyers and booking forms, you will understand the depth of knowledge he has needed regarding club current affairs to enable him to do this to such a high standard. In addition, he is always around on a Monday to assist Tom and Paul with the Chesterfield setup. What you have created, Julian, is a remarkable and efficient communication system within the club, and I congratulate you on doing this. You will now be taking over as our club secretary and handing the club administration on to Nikki Stone. I wish her well, and I'm sure you will always be around to assist her as necessary. You were awarded the Shulman Cup by Neville 2 weeks ago for your work in the club, and in addition, I now have pleasure to award you a Paul Harris Fellowship +1 for your time, your commitment, and your dedication. Thank you very much, Julian.
Thank you very much, Tim. Much appreciated.
Okay. Now, whether I have mentioned you by name or not, I want to thank every single member of the club for their support during my year and for attending the various meetings and functions that have been held. My own lasting memories will undoubtedly be the Capri trip, which turned out de facto to be my on-the-ground president's trip, certainly the House of Lords dinner, and our virtual trip to Tel Aviv. My lasting achievements will be getting the membership up to 123 with great assistance from other people, and in raising over £60,000 this year. Again, thank you all those who contributed. But wait 1 minute, there may be someone I am yet to mention. In fact, it's not just someone, but it's 2 people. Our esteemed treasurer, Hugh Kirk, and our honorary member, Janet. Hugh, you have held office in this club, I think, for 19 years. Almost everything that goes on in the club inevitably involves monetary transactions, which means that involves work for you to a greater or lesser extent. It is you who collects and chases subscriptions. It is you who produce monthly accounts to the club council. It is you who produce year-end formal accounts. You are a trustee of our club charity and coordinate its quarterly meetings. You organise the Burns Night Supper every year. You attend 90 to 95% of our meetings, travelling in from Bishop Stortford. and the vast majority of our events, which usually involves collections or an auction or some kind of financial activity or reconciliation. You are an invaluable resource and source of knowledge to every president you have served. And sitting next to you, we have Janet. Janet, you maintain the speaker's schedule, which I know chops and changes every 2 minutes as speakers are booked in, cancel, change their requirements, and so on and so forth. You support also the club by regular attendances at club meetings. And most importantly, you support Hugh in everything he does, as I just listed. And so in appreciation of all the work that you have both done this year, I am delighted to present to you both jointly the President's Cup. This magnificent President's. See that?
President's Cup. I don't know.
Now, this cup was presented to the club by past President Louis on his departure, with the idea that it be presented to the person, or in this case, people, who have contributed exceptional effort, energy, and enthusiasm to everything that they've done this year and have gone the extra mile. So very well done to both of you, and very many thanks for all the help you have afforded me in the last 12 months. Thank you very much.
Can I just say sincere appreciation? Can I say to you, it's been a pleasure to work with you. It's been a highly successful year, and the conclusion to this year is between you and myself working on the lockdown appeal, which has been highly successful and is still going on. And it's an absolute pleasure to work with you, and indeed with the other officers of the club, to be a member of this club and to serve this club. Next year will be my 20th year. I've held office in this club without a break, and it's been an honor to have served you. And I hope that, God willing, I will do so. I hope at least
we look forward to your 21st birthday party.
and
2022.
And I must say, without Janet, I'm sure none of this would have been possible. She has been an invaluable support to me, and also in her dedication to this club as well.
We know, and we do appreciate Janet. We know that.
We are so delighted that we are members, if I use Vassie's words, to be members of such a delightful family. And thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Hugh and Janet. Thank you very much. So it just remains for me now to wish President-elect David and all his team a happy and fruitful year. David, of course, was only elected as our Vice President in February, following Stefan's departure to the sunnier climes of Florida, where he's getting involved in things he didn't expect to be involved in. So David has to learn on his feet. I'm sure it'll be a great year, David, for you in the club, and I will do my best to support you, as I know all the officers and chairs will do. So we traditionally ask the outgoing RIBI president along to this meeting. Donna last attended our meetings on the 4th of November, Stanley Leverton Day. And at that meeting, she told us what she had achieved so far as president and what she wanted to achieve in the rest of her year. Little did she know that COVID-19 was just around the corner. We did present her with our club gavel, and we asked her to come back on Glass Boot Day to re-present the gavel back to us. So Donna Wallbank, you're going to tell us a little bit about what has happened in the last 7 months to you and at RIBI. Over to you, Donna.
Thank you so very much, President Tim, and friends of Rotary and my Rotary friends. I don't suppose any of us envisaged that we would be having the next meeting from my kitchen table, but here we are, because, you know, we're stronger together and there is such a strength in Rotary. And hearing the word team just now, President Tim, you know, team has no letter I in it. And what I haven't heard in the presentations from you all today, from you about the people that have helped you, is that word I. It's all been about team. And collectively, I have been so impressed to hear what you have achieved. And may I, on behalf of Rotary in Great Britain and Ireland, congratulate the London Club for all you have done, for doing what many other clubs have done in coming together and creating a new way of meeting. But in hearing about the amount of monies that you have enabled to happen during lockdown and the good causes that you're supporting, for me, proves that Rotary's connections really do expand far and wide. So congratulations to each and every one of you, and good luck for next year's team as well, because you know, together we do see that world where people unite and that where we all take action, and that action does create the lasting change that we will see, because there is that strength in Rotary, and that connection has woven ourselves, as we've seen in your club meeting today, throughout the world, across the globe, importantly in our communities and in the communities that we're part of. And the change, importantly, happens within us. We all come from different backgrounds, we all have different abilities, whether it's the ability to write or speak in different ways. But what truly shows a Rotarian as being a person of action is that passion to do something. And what I'm incredibly proud of is seeing the action that has been taken in these countries during COVID-19, and how we haven't just supported our own smaller communities, but we've supported the community as a world, because we are part of that world and we do make a difference. And those Rotary actors will make a difference, because we're each walking in somebody else's footsteps, because had they have not had that thought of starting Rotary in London, then you wouldn't have had those footsteps that you have trod, enabling those Rotary actors to tread them along the way. So please support them. I, for one, am delighted to hear some of the names, because Grace, for me, is one of those outstanding names that I remember from the Young Citizens Awards. And it's wonderful to see that those people that we have interacted with in their younger lives are interacting with us in our lives going forward. It is important, and it was one of the challenges, to make sure that we grow Rotary. And President Mark Maloney reiterated that yesterday in the virtual convention speech, that was one of the outlines for the year ahead. And hearing and seeing how you are growing Rotary is phenomenal, because even in COVID-19, we're seeing people coming forward, maybe because they're seeing that Rotary is there in the communities. Interacting with those people that we have of members, as you've outlined, Tim, keeping them engaged, letting them roll up their shirt sleeves, or interacting with each other around a table, or hearing those great speakers. It is about keeping those that we have at our table already, as well as enthusing those to come forward in the future. You're to be congratulated. Rotarians who make up Rotary in Great Britain and Ireland are to be congratulated for all that they're doing. And yes, we wouldn't have seen this as the end of the year. But actually, my glass remains half full, because there is a strength in what we've done. We have made those connections. And I think moving forward to Holger Cognac theme, that Rotary opens opportunities, is so true. Because this time in history is also an opportunity for us to continue what we're doing, and to open those doors and those opportunities for other people to interact, to help us grow, and for us to really show what we do. Congratulations, and my sincere thanks to all of you for what you've done. Importantly, please continue enjoying your Rotary. Enjoy the fun elements of Rotary, so that we all benefit from Rotary too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Donna, if you want to pass me through the computer, the gavel, I shall take it from you. And hey, presto, I've got it. There we go. The gavel has mysteriously been given to me by Donna through the computer, and it says on it, presented annually to the RIBI President by the Rotary Club of London. So that awaits your successor when your successor comes to visit our club, Donna. And I'm going to ask Clive to give a vote of thanks to you, Donna.
Thank you, President Tim. Donna, it is my pleasure and privilege to be able to thank you for joining us today. As you said, when we started this year, none of us anticipated that this is the way it would be at the end, but we have managed to keep going. I can tell you that today we've had over 70 people have joined this meeting, and I'm sure it's in no small measure because they knew that you were coming along here to join with us. Thank you for having taken the time to do this. I had the pleasure of seeing you yesterday at the RIBI event after the convention. When we eventually got going, I felt sorry for Phil Dyer with that. It must have been awful for him, poor chap. I know what it's like hosting these meetings. But we are delighted that you're with us for the second time. We were very pleased to see you on Stand 11 Day, but we're equally pleased to see you, albeit virtually, on this Zoom meeting. As was said yesterday, Donna, you've had a great year, but one of the things that we've noticed about you is that you're nearly always smiling. And I will reiterate that because it really does create a great impression that you're enjoying Rotary. And when you're enjoying Rotary and we see you enjoying it, we all enjoy it as well. You've had a great year, an unusual year, as everybody who's held office in Rotary this year has had. But again, can I say on behalf of everyone from the Rotary Club of London, thank you so much for having joined us again here today. We're delighted that you found the time to do it. And I'm sure in future, even when your year is over, we will be seeing you again. And we look forward to that. So with all my fellow members, please join me in thanking Donna in the usual way. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you, Clive. Thank you, Tim.
In addition, I have yet another speaker's certificate to go with the one that you got in November. So I will send that to you tomorrow so that you can get them framed together. Thank you very much for coming along, Donna, today.
Thank you.
So next week, as I said, is my last gasp, and our speaker next week is going to be Lord David Hunt. So that will be a great speaker for me to end on. So just finally, I want to remind you of our 3 events this week for you to take part in. Well, 4, because first of all, the Rotary International Convention, as has now been pointed out, is of course running on this week. And if you go online, you will find details of the various events you can join in if you wish to. Closer to home, please remember the Rotaract Club's first event, Purple for Polio, Prosecco Party. It's Wednesday evening, 7:30. Please remember on Thursday, the Rotary Club of Harrow has Sir Vince Cable speaking to them at lunchtime, 11:15. And please remember our district handover will be taking place next Sunday evening at 6:30. The Zoom links for all 3 events will be being sent out by Julian tomorrow. So I look forward to seeing you at, or hopefully a lot of you at, the 3 of them. That's all from me. I think we're going to finish slightly early this week, but I'm going to propose the final toast. Can you all please grab your cups, your glasses, your bottles? Clive, can we unmute everybody for final toast, please?
Yep. Everyone's unmuted.
Are we okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rotary and peace the world over.
Rotary and peace
the world over.
I now declare this meeting closed.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next week.
Thank you. Thanks,
Yeah.
Thanks,
Carry
President.
on. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Clive.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Everyone from Canada. Bye. Bye.